What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome along to episode number 4 of the F1 24 Driver Career Series for the 4th round of the Formula 2 season in Azerbaijan. If you guys did miss any of the first 3 episodes of the series, make sure to go check those out before you see this one. There'll be a card in the top right hand corner of your screen now, and that'll take you to the playlist to get caught up before you see this one. And make sure to get subscribed for more future F1 24 content. Without further ado, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the action. Time now for the sprint race.
So today, the sprint race, no pit stops, just full-on pace. It's all about speed, daring, and sheer driving skill. What, I wonder, is in store for us today? This is not your usual racing circuit. It provides one of the most complete tests for the field. Sector 1 sports a set of 90-degree corners around the block, if you like. Sector 2 gets even tighter with the old city walls. Sector 3 just turns 16 to negotiate, and then 2.2 kilometers, flat to the floor, full throttle, in 6th gear, all the way to the end. In the commentary box, I'm Alex Shakes. Alex Brundle is alongside me. And now, we've had sprints for years in Formula 2, but with a shorter race, how does that change your driving style?
You go for a little more, a little earlier, using a bit more of that harder compound of the 2 tyres available per weekend in Formula 2 to try to steal a march. And equally, if you have a bit of a bump, not so much of an issue. You're going to have another go tomorrow.
So here we go then on the grid for the first race of the F2 weekend, the sprint race here at the Baku City Circuit. Looking forward to what should be a very exciting 11 laps that will lead us into what will hopefully be a good feature race. Of course, looking to continue to close on the 2 primers of Vesti and Bem in the championship. P2 in the standings, going into today just looking to hunt down the championship leader, the Norwegian, in the number 7 primer. Of course, for those of you who have been around for a little while, you'll know that Azerbaijan is not one of my strongest tracks. Those of you who may have seen the Correct Series race we did in the F2 cars a couple of months ago will be able to pay testament to that. The only F2 race I've completely crashed out of. So hopefully we'll have better luck here today. But lining up now, completely missed the grid slot there with that one. So now just looking for a good launch to get us underway and try to push us inside that top 8 to try and nab some points in this first race going into the feature later on. So here we go now, 5 red lights for the sprint race here in Azerbaijan, the 4th round of the season, and it's lights up, foot to the floor. We are underway here in Baku. There goes Zane Maloney, almost in the middle immediately, looking at the outside of us going into turn 1, looks to the inside instead. We're going to pull alongside Johan Daruvla in the MP, lot of contact there, shunting the side of the MP car. Maloney gets in front, going to try and take him at turn 2, down the inside of the boy from Barbados into the second corner, looking to go side by side on the exit. If we can try and get a good traction, get a good run off the corner, we do. We stay alongside Maloney, doing in front, pulling away with P10, Crawford and Daruvla right there behind us in the high-tech and MP respectively, down towards the braking zone of turn 3, the last 90-degree corner in this first little section. We completely got off the brakes there and off into the runoff area. No! And that's an awful start to this race. We're going to fall down the order completely to the back of the field, P22, and a huge mistake we could have done without on the opening lap, and all of a sudden now we're left with it all to do to get ourselves back up the order and just completely missing our braking zone there. Too caught up in fighting, we're trying to get around Maloney, and now we've paid the price for it. So down into P22, I have to get to work here to make up those places back. On to lap 2 here, our first target being Roman Stanek in the Trident. Let's try and keep these calm and get around as quickly as we can here. Down the inside, going to turn 4. Good overtaking chance. We can get a good exit out of 3, which we do. And the exit, Stanek gets a bit loose as well, so we jump in front of him. So first place down, and only a good 10 more to go to get us back up to where we started in this race. And Mario Cordier, our next target in the Virtuosi, and Hajar and Boschong just in front of him as well. On to the end of lap 2 now. No DRS in play just yet, but because this main show will be a big place for it. Going down into turn 1. DRS is deployed now onto lap 3 of the race. Purple sector 3 as well, so we've got pace. We can still come back in this race. Oh, a bit too deep in turn 1. And the exit turn 1 where that barrier sticks out. We'll have to look out for that. Cordial still on our inside, still wanting a second bite of the cherry to come back at us. We're on the outside, we've got a better entry and better exit too. So into P20 now. Ralph Boschong, our next target. Hajar in front of him, I believe it's Roy Nassani in P17 at the minute, but I could be wrong there. Pushing on to lap number 4 of this race, still chasing Boschong, about a second behind him at the minute. Cordial and Stanek staying right behind us. There's our objective, to achieve 17th position. So it's purely a position objective. Doesn't matter how we make up those places, as long as we make them up. And at this point, we're looking for as many spots as we can get. The Boschong will be the first target here. On to lap 5. It's almost a lap till we get going. Down the inside from a long way back. Decent lunge. And we take the place away from the Campos driver, and it isn't indeed Nassani up in front of Hadjo. You've got the orange mark there on his name tag as a target as to where we're supposed to be getting to. But Isaac Hadjar in the high-tech, our next target, and pushing now on towards the DRS zone. He'll have DRS too, but we're a bit closer to him than he is to Nisani. So we might be able to get a good run here, but I think that objective is out of the window for the time being. Down the main straight and charging towards the start-finish line and turn 1, closing in all the time on the Red Bull Juniors. We charge down towards turn 1. We look to the outside of the racetrack. It's forced a long way round into the braking zone we go. If we can keep it under control, we can avoid that outside barrier and take the place when we do both those things. 2 marks out of 2. And that's a decent overtake to get us up into P18 now. And 1 place behind what was the target, but fortunately we have now failed that. So we've had to carry on as we were now on lap 7. So past halfway in this sprint race, and it's looking unlikely we'll actually have any points at all. Down the inside a lap later on Nisani at turn 3. Decent run off the corner as well. And we got a bit of damage, so we tapped the inside wall on the way through. And as a result, we've got an objective to avoid damaging our wing for the next 3 laps. So we'll try and avoid making any more damage, when putting any more damage on this car than they actually need to. Correa, our next target in front, then Brad Benavides in front of him. So the cars in front, we can still start taking place. These guys now, they're all back in one train. Down the inside of Correa from a long way back on the Van Amersfoort car. And we'll take the place away up into P16. We're still only a few places off where we started in this race. So we can actually end up in the positive numbers in terms of places gained. On to lap 9 now. It's under 3 laps to go in this thing. Benavides, our next target, into Fittipaldi just in front. No damage to that wing since getting that objective. So we're on for that at the minute. But closing on Benavides, he's got DRS as well, so it's difficult to try and make that move. We're going to go super late on the brakes, and now we're nailing that turn 3 braking zone. Who knows how far of the order we'd be if that wasn't the case, if we'd actually made it on that first lap and not gone straight on. But P15 for now, Fittipaldi and then Daruvula back in front. We're starting to get to names we recognise from the first lap. Down the inside of Fittipaldi, going into the chicane and making it stick a bit deep on the exit of the first part of the chicane. We managed to make it work though, avoided going off the track, and up in front of the Brazilian now. Daruvula and Crawford now our next targets. Can we go for another move on Daruvula down the inside? Maybe over the curb a bit. Slight bit of contact, but we kept it in front. No warning from the FIA, so we got lucky there because we already collided with Daruvula once at the start. So that is chappy with us at this point in the race. But Jack Crawford, our next target, onto lap 10 of this race. Maloney challenging one of the cars in front. That's Dennis Hauger in the MP. We're tapping Crawford through turn 1. We've got him out of shape though. Almost a NASCAR technique. As we go towards turn 2. On his inside, he's got to give us space down underneath. And again, another tap to Maloney. We are all over the place here, but we had to get the elbows out a bit more than usual because we are fighting to try and get as high up the order as we can. If we do, we end up with just no points at the end of this one. It's looking unlikely. The top 8 and quite a way down the road. Jack Dillon's in P9. He's about a second and a half in front of us. But Maloney might be our last car we can try and take in this race. Closing in on him. We're right on his tail as we go towards the castle section once again. Look to the outside. Can we outbrake our opponent? Yes, we can. And this time we take Maloney and get ourselves back up another position. So over time, we've had the pace today, so it's just unfortunately we made that mistake, and that's probably what's cost us big time. We could have been on for good points if that wasn't the case. Vetti's there in P8, so we're not losing too much to him, which is positive. But obviously, I believe Behrman's in front of him, but we've got problems of our own still because Maloney's going to come back at us here. He's come through to start the final lap and pass our objective as well. 1 lap to go in this sprint race. Maloney around the outside into turn 1. We're still there next to him, so we're trying to outbrake him into this first corner, very close to that inside barrier, as close as you really can get. Maloney gets a better exit though and jumps back in front of us, so back down to P11 in this race. We've still got a bit of time to try and get him back, and another DRS zone to play around with, 2 of them in fact, because of course we'll have that large charge down the main straight if we can't get in here. We're closing on him all the time as he charges towards turn 3. Look to this time nail our braking point completely and jump him in the order around the outside of the Carlin machine, and on the exit jumping in front. Zane Maloney just back into line, Halgren behind him. I'll say catching Vesti or Doohan is now out of the picture in this sprint race, but P10, given that big mistake we made, is probably the best we can make out of this situation, but it's not over yet, because they run towards the line up front. Arthur Leclerc is set to take victory for Dams, his second win of the season, adding to the first one he got in Bahrain. But Maloney's not done with us yet. It's going to be quite charged to the line here. Can he take us with a DRS? So we're going to break the toe, try and give him as little chance as possible. We're going to just about pull it off. No need for a side-by-side photo finish with P10 at the flag. Unfortunate, the mistake on the first lap costing us from the get-go, but we still got pace, and that shows promise for the feature. If we can avoid making mistakes like that, we could be on for some solid points and drive the day as well, making up all those places from the back of the order up to P10 at the checkered flag.
What a performance, what a drive, it's victory for Arthur Leclerc.
Well, sprint races are basic, aren't they? And that's why we like them. Set them all going and let them have at it. And they really showed the racecraft and pace that you need to win them.
And I can see our drivers making their way out now. It's been a sublime team performance, and it's the culmination of a lot of hard work. Dams are your winners today.
So for the second time in 4 race weekends, it is Arthur Leclerc taking victory in the sprint race. Ayumu Iwasa, his teammate, joins him on the podium in a Dams 1-2. And Kushmeni makes his first visit to the F2 podium this season after a solid third place result coming in behind those guys. I believe led the way for a brief period of time, but of course we'd love to be joining these guys on the podium, but not to be today. We're looking at the feature for the big points. In terms of the remainder of the points paying places, Behrman finishes 4th, Martin's 5th, our teammate, Verschoor 6th, Clement Novalak in 7th, and Frederick Vestiaire, championship rival, nabs the last points on offer in the end. Behrman's close some points then, only a few points on myself and Vesti, and as a result he now sits 8 points off the lead in the standings. Halgren 4th place, quite a way off, 30 points off the lead, with 29 points off the lead, and Fittipaldi there in 5th as well. But we are sitting just 4 points back from Vesti, so not too much loss there. But Prema with the big points again, 98 to 128 between ART and Prema. The gap sitting there at 30 points going into the feature race. So in terms of rating then, improvements across the board, including one in racecraft. Awareness goes up a little bit thanks to the objective. Improvement to pace as well, and nothing to focus there. But overall brings us about almost halfway to a 70 rating. A good feature race we could potentially reach at the end of the episode, but there's only one way to find out. Let's jump in to the main race.
BAKU never fails to disappoint fans of Formula 2, so hold on tight. The cars are set on the grid, and any moment we'll be starting today's race. Welcome to Azerbaijan. This is not your usual racing circuit. It provides one of the most complete tests for the field. Sector 1 sports a set of 90-degree corners around the block, if you like. Sector 2 gets even tighter with the old city walls. Sector 3 just turns 16 to negotiate, and then 2.2 kilometers, flat to the floor, full throttle, in 6th gear, all the way to the end. Let's look at the grid order for today's race while the cars make their final preparations. A fantastic effort from Jehan Daruvali yesterday puts him on pole position, and it's Clement Novalak in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vesti, Verschoor, Victor Martins, Hauger, Behrman, Iwasa, Leclerc, Kushmeni, Doohan, Cohen, Jack Crawford, Zane Maloney, Fittipaldi, Benavides, Correa, Isaac Hadjar, Nissani, Cordial, Stanek, and Ralph Boschon completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's get down to the track. It is the Formula 2 race. It is time to introduce you to Alex Brundle. I'm Alex Jakes, and we've got changeable weather out there today. That's making for some nervous team personnel down in the paddock, down in the pit lane.
Well, uncertainty is what strategy is all about, but it absolves the teams from the responsibility of running both compounds of tyre. They might have to use that wet tyre, of course, and then the question is, where do those crossovers lie between the wet and dry conditions?
No more talking then, it is time for action. This is where the big points come out. Welcome to the feature race here in Azerbaijan, once again from P12 on the grid. Qualifying cost us massively in these feature races so far this season. We'll have to try and rectify that for the next race in Imola. The strategy goes unchanged, going from super soft onto soft tyres to cap things off in that second stint. But of course, we're looking now for a solid start. The opening lap left a lot to be desired in the sprint, so we're looking for a bit less than the mistakes we made on lap 1 last time around, and go for it this time. Doing there in front of us, Crawford almost gave us some trouble on our right at the start, but Maloney was the heavy hitter on lap 1 in the sprint. So we're looking to avoid losing any places this time around. It's a poor start in general thanks to the grid slot mistake. We'll see if we can rectify this time. Getting that last bit of heat into the tyres, back and forth there. Overall tyres quite warm. The front left could use a few more, but we're okay there. Lining up now, getting things right this time, and ready now for what should be an excellent 15 laps here at the Baku City Circuit. Can we keep our noses clean into turn 1? One way to find out. Here come the lights for the feature race. The big points coming out here in Azerbaijan. And it's lights out, foot to the floor. We are underway. Better start than the sprint. Jumping in front of both Crawford and Maloney. No threat there. Crawford to the inside into turn 1, breaking a bit earlier to avoid running into Doohan. Trying to go around the outside. We've lost a place on the opening getaway here. Crawford and Doohan side by side will take the lane of whoever wins this duel through turn 2. We're looking at Crawford on the exit. He's jumping in from about half a car length. We've got to stay in line for the minute. Maloney there behind us. And Benavides going to try and counter as well as we run down towards turn 3. Looking to avoid running everyone off the circuit, running ourselves off the circuit into turn 3. Down the inside of both cars. We are here to play today. A tap to Kushmeni, but we're up into P11 back from that. So a place lost turns into a place gain almost immediately after just a few corners. I can now get to work on trying to hunt down Arthur Leclerc, Jack Crawford and Jack Doohan now in P12 and P13. Those two behind have no clue what just hit them in turn 3. And we're now up in front of both those cars. We start working on the sprint race with Leclerc down the inside of the Monegasque into the castle section for the first time, keeping it on the circuit, avoiding going over that curb as much as we can. Up into P10 now, already inside the points, paying places. Maney and Iwasa now our next target up in front. Pushing on to the end of lap number 2 now. Arthur Leclerc giving us a bit of trouble to go back down the main straight. No DRS yet, but he's got the toe he needs to make a move going down the inside towards turn 1. He's got the run on us and he's in front by a little bit. It's dead even into that first corner, but Leclerc's got the preferred line on the inside. Got a bit wide as well, having to avoid hitting that turn 1 exit barrier. And Leclerc jumps in front, and that's probably the chance gone to hold on to P10 for the minute. We'll keep pace with them for the moment, but down to P11 for now. Crawford and Doohan still behind us, waiting to pounce. We're still going at it behind us like a pair of wild dogs, looking for position number 11 or 10. But Leclerc, we have to keep focused on him in front before he gets away from us. And pushing on now to the end of lap number 4 of this race. We're going to have DRS to our advantage this time. Down the main straight, it's a long main straight, so a lot of opportunities to come pull alongside him and potentially try and outbrake him into turn 1. Closing all the time here, down the main straight, onto lap 5 of this race. Going to pull to the outside of Leclerc if we can get enough to run. Going in, but big mistake, not enough room to go for it. Leclerc defends beautifully there, and I really didn't want to risk it in terms of potentially get some damage there off a line that we probably should have been going for in the first place. We should have gone for the inside, but that being said, you make a mistake and you have to learn from that for later on. But the rear tyres are struggling here. I'm going to make an advanced call and go pick a lap earlier than everybody else. See if we can just get an extra lap of grip. It worked in Bahrain. Of course, we did that when the last time when the rears were particularly troublesome. We did it in Jeddah as well, I believe. Oh, two big hits there on the way into the pit. So I want to try and avoid that. We did have an objective to overtake Leclerc, but that gets postponed as we're now in the pit lane and can't catch him. But looking now for our first and only stop. The safety car has been deployed. While we're in the pit, red flag has come out. What have we just missed? And we've been completely played here. There's someone else in the pits with us. Not quite sure who that is, but the red flag is now out, and the field is now frozen. We're down to dead last in this race, and we've shot ourselves in the foot going a lap early. Who was that? Who's put us down the order? It's Ayumu Iwasa in the Dams, who at turn 1 is very similar to Victor Martins in the very first race of this career series. Mainly gets away okay there, but everyone else stacks up behind him, and Arthur Leclerc runs into the back of him. That could have been us if we were not there, but not in the pit lane rather. But everyone goes through. But stopped cars on the track means a red flag, and Iwasa's brought us down to the bottom of the field here, which is over half the race to go. Nightmare scenario. We now find ourselves back where we were in the sprint race as the lights come on and go out once again. We have 7 laps to decide this, 8 laps to decide this thing. As we go off into turn 1 once again, we now just charge to the field as much as we can. Nightmare stuff. We have to make the best of a bad situation around the outside of Bushong and Nissani at turn 1. 2 places game right there. Leclerc fell back massively thanks to being stopped in front of Iwasa, who still says P16. So he's kept his position, which is quite annoying given that we were the ones who then lost out big time. But up into P19 now, taking Roman Stanek on the outside. He's still alongside, so we can try and get in front of him with a toe off Leclerc. We can look to the outside going into turn 3 on the Monegasque. There we go around the outside. Leclerc going for it on a Maury Cordial just in front. And we're going to try and take both cars here, like we did on the first lap with Crawford and Doohan. And it's worked again, we're avoiding damage at this point in the race. Down the inside now of Iwasa as well. And that'll be sweet revenge for him bringing out that red flag and causing us to lose all those places. Potential high points could be out the window thanks to him. We've managed to take the place now. Of course, the decision to pit, we made that choice. But down the inside of the Van Amersfoort there of Correa as well. So up now into P15 from the start. On to the end of lap number 8 now. Isaac Hadjar is our next target in the high-tech. Fittipaldi just in front of him. Iwasa's got 10 seconds. I think that's for being stopped on track and stopping. I'm not quite sure what that is for. But everyone's obviously made their tyre changes, so we can't do anything there. Hadjar is an easy target there at turn 1. Up into P14 now. And Enzo Fittipaldi and Brad Benavidez are our next 2 targets in this race. We're trying hunting Fittipaldi now down the inside into the castle section, over the curb. But on the exit, getting in front of him. I think at this point of the race, as long as the FIA aren't giving us warnings or penalties for it, to hell with trying to race. We're trying to race as cleanly as we can, because we need places now. We need points. Desperation starts sinking in situations such as this. A bit of wing damage there. As you can see, we're being a bit more reckless with our opportunities that are being given to us. That mistake going to the outside of Leclerc didn't work. Oh, that was very close to taking us out. Doohan's got a problem. He looks to the out of this race. We take Benavidez into turn 1. Everything's happening at once here. Doohan almost took myself and Benavides out the race in one fell swoop as we go through turn 2. Back chasing Zane Maloney for P10. Doohan is out and Benavides has gone behind us. He's disappeared completely. What's happened to him? He's got a problem too. 2 retirements in the space of just 3 corners there. What is going on this weekend in Azerbaijan? Benavides is gone as well. And his race is over. Game over for the PHM machine. Game over for Jack Doohan. What happened to Jack Doohan, who was moving across the racetrack to, I assume, to retire at that runoff area at turn 1, but that is not when you do it. I'm almost in complete awe that AI even thought to do that. There goes the smoke, and he falls out by the wayside. You see him coming across slightly, and then as myself and Benavides come charging through, you see him pull to the right-hand side of the racetrack. You don't do that. It's ridiculous. We'll give him a bit of the benefit of doubt because he was trying to get away into the runoff area. He actually holds up his teammate Cordila as well in doing that. Wow. That was very, very tense. All of a sudden, of course, completely off guard. We'll continue on here. On to lap 13, 3 laps to go. Another objective pass to keep our tyre wear under 25%. Crawford and Maloney now going side by side at turn 1. These guys, again, we keep on cycling back to these two fighting for position or fighting us. Let's try and take whoever loses this fight, unless we can try and get both of them here towards turn 3. Maloney gets the better exit with DRS. Crawford is left by the wayside. We'll charge through, following the Carlin right behind him, and into turn 3. Going to try and outbrake Maloney if we can. Through on the outside, squeezed him towards the inside wall, and jumping into P9 now, up in the points paying places at last. Again, being perhaps cruelly denied what could have been more points today. But on to end up number 13 now, 2 laps to go across the line. Maloney with a great charge towards turn 1. It's deja vu, and this time Maloney does get us. Of course, he came close in the sprint, hitting him at turn 1. We're really throwing caution to the wind at this point, and driving perhaps a bit more angry than we normally do. But through turn 2 now, again, all close to another tap on Maloney. Crawford there behind us, looking for any opportunity to try and pounce if either of us makes a mistake. DRS is in full song as we charge up towards turn 3 once again. Looking this time once again to the outside of the Carlin. Not enough for run this time. Let's try and switch back on the exit if we can. We'll do just that, but not enough for run there. So back to the inside. Going to try and outbrake Maloney into the corner, and we almost go straight up into the wall there. But the place is ours. The 2 points are ours at this rate. Should we hang on to this? And I think, honestly, that might just be all she wrote. I mean, there's DRS starts coming up, but I don't think Maloney's got anything left at this point. We've sort of pushed things to the limit here in this last part of the race. We get one last chance at us on the final lap through the DRS, closing in, but not going to be close to this time. Daruvula takes victory in the feature race. We're going to come towards the line in 9th place. And as we take the flag, that was pure chaos upon chaos upon chaos.
It's a drive of true class. It's victory for Jayan Daruvula.
Have you seen one quite as dominant as that, Jakesy? I'm not sure I have. They led every single lap of that one, lights to flag.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the MP Motorsport team, and I'm very happy to see them up there on the top step of the podium.
So Daruvula sails to the checkered flag, then takes his first victory of the season, and honestly, I can say this with confidence that his race must not have been as mad as ours was. We were all over the shop in that race. We fought back to P9 at the very end of it from last over half the race. We had pace to win this weekend, I feel, just off the 2 performances we've given in terms of fighting back. But P9 for us. Novalak finishes 2nd, Vashor 3rd. Victor Martins gets good points for us this weekend in 4th place. Vesti 5th, Howler 6th, Behrman 7th, Maney 8th. We take home 9th, and Maloney nabs the last point off of a very unfortunate Jack Crawford. In terms of the championship, then Vesti reopens that gap, and Behrman now brings himself level with us in 2nd place. We'll take it on the virtue of feature race wins, I believe. But Vesti a bit further in front of us, and Prema lead by 32 now in the Constructors' Championship. So let's try and close that gap, myself and Martin, to show pace of this weekend. If we can carry that on into the next race at Imola, that'd be fantastic. In terms of ratings and improvement to experience, no improvement to racecraft, up 1 in awareness. For pace, no improvement there, and focus we'll just miss out on that. But we do, just shy of a 70 rating into this one. But guys, that's the end of this episode. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, share and subscribe for more future F1 content. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.